Lovers and Other Tanners is the 5th episode of the 6th season of Full House. This is, of course, directed by Joel Zwick, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really solid episode. The main part of the episode focuses on DJ and Steve, and I'll talk about them in a moment. But we also have part of the narrative focusing on Jessie, and I really like how this played out. It kind of carries on from the previous episode, where Jessie and Joey were invited to do a slot on the radio, and it's their first day. Joey's really excited. Jessie is sick. But he's going to do it. He's going to power through. And he takes some cold medicine. And unfortunately, it's the kind that kind of knocks you out a little bit. So he's not exactly alert. And things don't go according to plan. And ultimately what happens is Joey has to be there to help him. And Jessie realises that actually having Joey there might not be a bad thing. He was there to bail him out. He was there to help him in his time of need. And it allows Jessie to realise that actually Joey's a good person. He shouldn't be bitter towards him because he has to share this slot. He was obviously worried that by sharing the slot, Jessie would not get as much of the attention or the opportunity as he wanted. And obviously that's not the case. So it's better to work together and have your friend by your side who's there to support you than to remain bitter about it. And it does get quite chaotic as Becky takes the girls down and Stephanie and Michelle get a chance to go on air and sing and sing some songs. It's good fun. It's a nice part of the episode with some sweet messages there. And I like the fact that they're not dragging out Jessie's negativity about this too long from the previous episode. I think it was all very well handled. Then we come to DJ and Steve. And Steve comes into the house and is eating all the food again, which honestly, Danny's not that bothered about. But he is bothered about the fact that DJ is neglecting things, and she got a C in history when she's usually getting an A, and then she feels something else that's maybe a little bit worse. Well, I don't know if it's worse, but certainly not very kind. She and Steve are studying. To be fair, they are studying in the living room. And then Steve frantically tries to erase something out to the point where he's almost erasing out the coffee table. And in this frantic motion, he tells DJ he loves her. And initially she says thank you, but then she does say I love you as well. And it's a really sweet moment. And then they kiss. And then Stephanie comes in and asks Danny if she found something valuable on the way home from school, would she get a prize? And would she get a reward for it? And it turns out the valuable thing she found was Michelle Tanner. DJ was meant to pick up Michelle from her honeybees meeting. And, well, DJ didn't do that because she was too preoccupied with Steve. And yes, granted, they were studying, but at the same time, she was supposed to pick up Michelle, and she was so focused on Steve that she just completely forgot. And this is not like DJ, but I think this is a very believable portrayal of a young person in their first real relationship. And honestly, it can happen to fully grown adults as well. When you're in a new relationship, I think it is quite easy to lose sight of things around you, your family and friends, your other commitments. And it's a nice reminder that actually you can have a loving relationship without neglecting everything else in your life. In fact, it's probably very wise to not neglect everything else in your life. Danny obviously is very annoyed by this. DJ is not allowed to see Steve anymore, and he actually goes to talk with Steve while Steve's at wrestling practice, which was quite a delightful scene, actually. Very funny, very, very well executed. And Steve ends up saying to DJ, and I think this is much to Steve's credit, we'll have to end it. I don't want to come between you and your father. I thought that was so mature of Steve, and actually a good indication that actually Steve might be right for DJ. Yes, DJ needs to maybe get back down to reality a little bit, but Steve hasn't really done anything wrong. He's never really come across as a bad character, and if DJ is going to date anybody, which let's face it, she's grown up, she's going to be dating, then Steve seems like the best option, and Danny just needs to realise that, and with a little help from Vicky, he does end up realising that, and we have a really lovely, grown-up, mature, heart-to-heart between Danny and DJ, and I thought it was a really nice way to conclude that part of the episode. It's a really solid episode of Full House. I think it has a lot to offer. I think the friendship between Jessie and Joey is very apparent and beautifully done, and we have some really great messages, not just for people of DJ's age, but absolutely, but for anybody who might be in a new relationship or anything where their attention is completely on that. whatever the new exciting thing in their life may be, that you do have other responsibilities in most cases, and there are people in your life, and you're not supposed to neglect them in favor of somebody else. So some great messages of anybody of any age, but definitely for people like DJ who might be experiencing this for the first time. I have no complaints about it. I thought Lovers and Other Tanners was a really solid episode of Full House, some great messages, and definitely a really enjoyable episode.